My neglectful parents who abandoned me 30 years ago are suing me for $100,000 for not buying my bio brother an apartment, and I think I'm going to lose the case. I was born into a dysfunctional family, and when I was just 2 years old, my alcoholic parents signed away their parental rights over to my aunt who became my caretaker. My aunt and her family were amazing to me and treated me so well. However, I still desperately reached out to my parents on an almost weekly basis begging for them to make some sort of contact with me. But they never did. I did not get a single happy birthday text, a single Merry Christmas, surprise visit, nothing at all. I cried a lot about it to my aunt, especially when kids at school teased me for my parents not wanting me in their life. And yet still, like a loyal puppy, I kept hope that my parents would reach out to me and make amends for what they did. If they just reached out, I would forgive them in an instant, but they never did. I fully gave up hope when I was 16. It was my 16th birthday party, and my aunt woke me up to tell me that my mother had called. According to my aunt, my mother wanted to meet up with me at a restaurant in her hometown and take me to dinner. I had plans on my birthday, but I canceled them all just to go. I ended up spending 3 hours on a bus going just up to the hometown, with my mother's number saved, ready to call her. When I got to the restaurant at the designated time, I entered, sat down and started waiting. I gave my mom a call after 15 minutes, then after 30, then 45, and finally after 90 minutes of sitting there, by this point crying, I decided to block her number and return home. To this day, my 16th birthday remains the most traumatic day of my life, as it was the day I truly realized I meant nothing to my parents. I started seeing my aunt and her family as my real family, and even destroyed the pictures of me as a baby with my bio parents which I had in my room at the time. I ended up putting my head down and getting to work in school, and after a lot of hard work, support from my aunt's family, both financial and mental support, I ended up graduating law school and becoming a lawyer. I'm now 29 years old and work as a lawyer in a high-end firm, and I make a very good living. This is exactly where the problem starts. Due to my high income, I was able to pay back my aunt's family the money they lent me to pay for law school, and I was able to rent out a very nice apartment for myself. Last year, end-of-year bonuses came in, and my bonus was enough for me to afford to lease out a small one-bedroom apartment for an entire year for my cousin, who I was very close with, as the apartment is beside his college which happens to be far from home. My cousin has a long commute to college every day, and this apartment would allow him to focus on his studies better. He was overjoyed. But just recently my parents got in touch with me. When my mother called, I instantly recognized her voice. I wanted to cry as I thought she was actually trying to reconnect, but I was very wrong. Instead of saying hi, asking how I've been or anything along those lines, she told me she heard I bought my cousin an apartment. I asked her why she was asking this, and she said that I have a little brother who is 22 years old and wants to move out of the house but has no money, and she told me I should rent an apartment for my brother to live in too. She did not ask, she told me to. The first question I asked was, I have a brother? My mother said yes, but instead of saying anything else about him she said, so you'll do it. I of course told her no and hung up. Not even a week later I was served at work, ironically enough, with papers telling me my parents are suing me for $100,000 for parental maintenance. The case has started, and although in my opinion any sane person could see I'm in the right, I may lose this case, and here's why. One thing I haven't mentioned is I am Chinese, and in China maintaining a respectful relationship with your parents as their son or daughter, despite how they treated you, is looked at as crucial, and this seems to be the angle my mother and father are taking.